4, 3.
It's showtime.
Good morning, Vietnam! Welcome to the party, pal!
See you at the party, Richter!
I didn't kill my wife! I don't care!
Get away from her, you bitch!
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
You did not gonna say that, did you?
What I do have are a very particular set of skills.
To do the vibes.
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Inconceivable!
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
This is a tasty burger.
Face.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
I'm the bad guy?
And Hulk, smash.
I can speak with an English accent.
I have a very great friend in Rome called Biggus Dickens.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
You went over my helmet?
What would you prefer? Yellow spandex?
I know, right?
There's no crying in baseball! Hey, where are the white women at?
They're digging in the wrong place.
I'm gonna make him an offer, Cameron.
Are you not entertained?
Second start of the run. Straight on for one.
Meow.
You son of a bitch!
21 gigawatts!
Wax on, wax off.
Oh my goodness, I am sporting a tremendous Woody right now.
Excuse me? Baking powder?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Bartender is the aristocrat of the working class.
You want to flip 6-3 whole play and you can score.
Cover me. Why so serious?
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria!
On this team, we fight for that itch.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
No ticket.
No ticket.
We're gonna get FUBAR now.
What the hell's football?
I get older, they stay the same age. They just...
Here's Johnny.
It's not what you know. It's what you can prove.
I'm a dude playing the dude disguised as another dude. He's 15.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Hope is a good thing. Maybe the best of things. And no good thing ever dies.
Good evening, and welcome to the Reel McCoy. I'm your host, Meffistoe, and always with me, my hetero life mate, my feelings. How are you, sir?
Well, happy birthday, buddy.
Not exactly my birthday, but
it's getting close.
It's in a couple of days. It's literally in a couple of days.
We did kind of miss it. Happy 5 years.
Let me finish, and we'll get to it. All right. What is the Reel McCoy's? The Reel McCoy's a weekly movie podcast where we ask you to go watch a movie, watch it, come back to us, and we break it down for you. But we're also kind of skipped last week or the week before that. It doesn't really matter the actual date. But we kind of got started 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too into it and too sentimental, but this show wasn't supposed to be on this channel.
Nope.
Wasn't even supposed to be my show or our show at all. Was supposed to be, it was an actual pitch to a different YouTuber. He still is a gaming YouTuber, and he kept going on and on about, he needs to do a separate channel, a movie channel, blah, blah, blah. And I pitched him this show, and in order for him to have an idea what the show is all about, not just have I ever shown you the sort of the notes I had for Mike? I probably didn't.
So,
but it was a play-by-play on how the show is supposed to go.
Well, I know we talked about it in depth with him 2022 when we all met in Manchester.
I don't know if that was in depth, but I had to sit down with him. I'm not sure if you were there or not. I don't remember.
I was for part of it, and I know we talked to a lot of people about it.
Oh, yeah. We talked to a lot of people about it, yeah. But I asked you to come in and sort of do the show with me.
It was in so many ways kind of a pilot or sort of like a test run. It's like or proof of concept.
Yeah, and we kind of picked the movie that we kind of want to do again, but we kind of picked the movie, and it was we did the show live but unlisted, and then I don't remember if I took it down and re-upload. I think I did. Took it down and then re-uploaded it. And when I did the re-upload, I even added the old intro to it as well, which I think is still on. I'm pretty sure it's still on, but it's not on the live section. It's on the like the regular section, that the video section. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, I didn't see us doing this for 5 years. But I'm actually, and I've said this many times, it used to be that Saturday evening was like my least favorite time of the week, and it literally became my favorite time of the week. It's the build up to it, it's the research, it's the rewatching old stuff, it's a lot of things that have to do with the show. And it's let's toast for just one more week or one more year or whatever it is.
Yep.
And here's to 47 revolutions around the sun. That's what it is. I know. You don't see the whites, right? You don't see the whites here and here. And I'm shaving, so you don't see the lots of whites in my beard most times. But yeah, I am. I can prove it. I am 47 years old. All right, cool. Let's dive into this whole month, because we kind of picked a themed for June. Last June we did like a back to school, which is essentially end of school, but was a fun little flip flop on that. But this June is dedicated to a man we lost recently, a man who, as All My Feelings said, cared too much.
Too much, yes.
Yeah, cared too much. It is a month dedicated to Rob Reiner. Now, I went a little bit anal on picking stuff for this month. We kind of picked movies that Rob Reiner was the director of.
Yes.
But we kind of could have picked movies that are like he's the producer, or he was like producer writer. We also kind of covered one of his major films, like we did cover in the past, When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
We did The Princess Bride, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is my favorite Rob Reiner movie of all time.
And of course, The Shawshank Redemption.
And The Shawshank Redemption is not really Rob Reiner.
But it is under Castle Rock Entertainment, which
it is under Castle Rock
Entertainment.
Yeah.
And oh boy, Castle Rock.
Yeah. Right. Before we get into all the different shenanigans, we'll say hello to the chat. We'll say hello to Sander Hammerschlag, say hello to Gambit and all the other lurkers and replay watchers and all that good stuff. We love you. We hear you. We see you. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for the persistences, for staying with us. And hopefully, I always hope, it doesn't really matter to me, but I really want my whole, from the beginning, what I said to All My Feelings way back in the day, when I was a little bit too stressed about who's going to watch and how many are going to watch and all that stuff. What I want is for people to discover the show and watch the movies we're talking about and experience something that is rarely done, which is experiencing a piece of art that you for the very first time. Last week, watched Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. I kind of knew it existed, but not really. I actually did confuse it with The Dark Hours just because of Gary Oldman.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
And I'm so glad we did. And throughout the years, and you know this, All My Feelings, you introduced me to several films that I thought, like, I knew everything. Oh boy, am I wrong. And I'm glad I'm wrong, because then I get to experience movies for the very first time. And some of them, most of them are like bang on. Like, this is I hate that I'd never seen this ever in my life. Like original Old Boy, I think I've never seen in my life.
Yeah,
like
I
bunch
saw The Devil.
I saw The Devil. It Follows ended up
Yeah.
being sort of like, I'm not really big on horror, but it's sort of like a, you know, I like it. I'm not sure I'm going to ever rewatch it, but I like the concept of the story in it and the allegories in it and all that stuff. So I get to experience those while really enjoying diving into what I like, which is also the story that leads to telling the story, which is exactly why we have this segment called Behind the Screens.
Sound production, take 2.
Took me 5 years and I did a flawless transition into a segment. 5 years. Who knows what will happen in about 5 years? I will do 3 flawless transitions. Behind the Screens is where we turn to me and all my feelings and get the lowdown on everything that is behind the scenes, production-wise, all that good stuff. Okay, let me bring up my notes. There we go. I'll begin. All my feelings, jump in whenever you want.
Sure.
Okay. The movie. The movie is an adaptation of Stephen King story, a novella per se, called The Body, which was published in a collection of short stories called Different Seasons. It had 4 different stories. Each one of them represented a different season, with The Body representing, I think it was fall?
I do believe it was summer.
Fall or summer?
I think it's still considered summer.
Summer.
And also too, after, obviously, we'll get into like why it wasn't called The Body in a bit.
Yeah.
But after the release of that, he's done so many different amalgamations of novellas that are kind of crammed together, like For Past Midnight, You Like It Darker. There are so many different ones. Stephen King, yeah, I know way too much about Stephen King, but
yeah, I know you're a huge book fan. I know.
As soon as the seasons was released, not like 2 years later, The Body was released on its own as its own novella as well.
Okay.
So it was in the collection, then got re-released 2 years later as its own separate side story.
Sandra had a question. Have you checked out the series, the old TV series? I'm guessing because you said Alec Guinness. No, I have not. I have not. I plan on doing it. I have. Oh my God! Let me tell you a story. I have managed to watch Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy with my wife, and
okay.
Let me be blunt because she watches the show. I love you, honey. The bitch knew it was Colin Firth as soon as he was on screen. It's like, that's the bad guy. It's like, how? They haven't even gone into the suspects yet. Mm-hmm. They're like, there's a mole in the thing. And then she saw the Colin Firth. And it's like, that's the guy. And then the first kind of thinking the first Christmas party flashback, the first one, she's like, he's sleeping with his wife. It's like, how are you doing this? It's like, it's obvious. It's like Colin Firth. It's like, he usually plays the good guy. It's like, that's why he's the mole. God damn it. God damn it. And she also said the movie is slow and boring, but whatever.
Well, that's just like her opinion, man.
Yeah, that's like your opinion, man. All right. Where was I? So in the collection of books, of the 4 different stories, only one of them didn't get an adaptation. But the other 2 is Apt Pupil, which is a very sort of quasi-Nazi, not quasi, but a Nazi story-ish. And the other one is Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, which of course was turned into the Shawshank Redemption.
Yep.
Now, how the script actually came to be? Well, the 2 writers, Bruce A. Evans and Reynold Gideon, were friends. I think they were writing partners for a while. Didn't check that one. But Bruce A. Evans bought a book, that particular book of that novella book for Gideon's wife for her birthday. But he actually read it and fell in love specifically with the story, The Body. So both of them went to Stephen King and then optioned the book. But then they had to make some changes. And this is for, specifically they said, for the movie, otherwise it wouldn't work. Now, some of these changes were done by them. Some of it is by Rob Reiner. If you happen to watch the behind the scenes on how the movie was made, Rob Reiner kind of takes credit about a lot of it. He said he wrote it.
I will just as an aside too, Stephen King is notorious about, especially at this time, about certain adaptations of his films, because he originally, for many decades, hated The Shining.
Yes.
Hated it vehemently. What's so interesting that his opinion changed later, and he eventually ended up loving it. But anyway,
well, he did love the new adaptation that you kept bugging me to watch. That
Dr. Sleep.
Watched, yeah, Dr. Sleep. I have. I admit it. I'm less interested in it.
No, it's fine. Say that. I was gonna say, but during that time, he also had a big. Well, it was like right after this, especially when he was talking to Darabont during Redemption, where essentially they got into an argument where he said, "You know how to write, but you don't know how to direct."
Yeah,
and he said, "Like, well, Darabont, I love him for doing this." He goes, "I think the man's great, but I think he still has his brain is still addled from all the coke and booze he had during the 80s.
Whoa. Right on the money.
Well,
right on the button.
There was watch Maximum Overdrive, and you're like, holy shit. I think he was trying to kill everybody on set.
Okay, so there were several changes from the original story. First of all, they changed the settings from Maine, Stephen King, to Castle Rock, Oregon. They changed the tone of the story, where they focused less and less on the body story and more on the relationship of the boys, putting them in the center rather than the body stuff.
Correct.
This is something that Rob Reiner specifically said that he'd done. So I've written it down. So the main character in the book, it's Chris Chambers. In the script, they changed it to Gordy because Gordy is the writer, and it makes sense that he writes about the older times, the times that he was a kid. It allowed them to have that angle, and the narrator be an older guy, being essentially Gordy, the older guy, telling the story.
I'm gonna bring this up multiple times. I just wanted to interject in this point right here. How, were you just getting flashbanged, like this memory thought of like, oh my god, this is Sandlot?
Yes. Honestly, I think I've mentioned it during Sandlot that the whole angle with the new kid coming in, and he kind of looks like Gordy, kind of looks like Will Wheaton, kind of had the same haircut, not gonna lie. And that whole angle of Chopper and the sick balls, and the fact that I didn't remember it when we talked about the Sandlot, but I do remember it now after rewatching it today, is essentially the narrator says that that nobody has seen the dog. Yes. And then the reveal of Chopper being this
Chopper's a sweet little boy.
Kind of like a sort of a mixed golden retriever, a yellow lab. He was dirty, but it kind of looks like a sweet dog. He doesn't look like a bad dog or a vicious dog.
And he was played by Popeye.
It was played. Yeah,
that was the dog's name. Was Popeye.
The dog's name is Popeye. Oh my god. Okay. And then Reiner, and this is Reiner insisted that the title would change from the body into something else, something that kind of represents the boys. The reason for this is to distinguish this particular movie or tale or story from King's horror. Because you think Stephen King, or you sell a movie with Stephen King, you're like, oh my God, it's a horror story. Plus, it's named The Body.
Well,
The connotation means, yeah, it's going to be a horror story. So they changed it into Stand By Me. Kind of.
Well, I would say too, Gideon also thought that it sounded like it was actually supposed to be like it's something that was be more R-rated, like something that would be like a sexual kind of thriller kind of movie, like The Body, or a bodybuilding movie.
I didn't even.
1986, Gold's Gym was huge. Schwarzenegger was huge. The bodybuilding scene was really big. So I kind of make that. So then he went with that, and they went with Stand By Me because it ended up being the least unpopular one of the options.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right. So,
and also too, just as an aside too, I think Reiner really identified with especially the focus change on Gordy, because Reiner always said that he felt like he was always cast in his father's shadow.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that. I don't have it in my notes, but I wanted to talk about it when we started the movie. But yeah, the thing about it is the original director wasn't even supposed to be Rob Reiner.
Nope.
It was actually Adrian Lyne, who just finished working on filming 9.5 Weeks.
Yes.
Now, he said that movie took a lot of him, and he just needs a break. He just needs a break. So they went through a couple of other choices, but eventually they went with Rob Reiner. Now, this is not Rob Reiner's first film. Of course, he had Spinal Tap. He had a couple of other movies. I think TV movie. I should have written it down, but it doesn't really matter. So he was proven, and the budget wasn't high, so they just said, okay, we'll go with Reiner. Now, a few weeks before production even started, Embassy Pictures, who were the major financier of the movie, were bought up by Columbia Pictures. And the executives in Columbia Pictures looked at the script, looked at what was proposed, and they said, well, this movie is not marketable. First of all, it's a Stephen King movie that is not horror. So what's the point? And they were like, we're going to axe this movie. Like, literally, we're not going to go ahead with this movie at all. In comes Norman Lear. Now, Norman Lear, big producer, but his most famous production is All in the Family, which is Rob Reiner's first major acting role.
Yep.
And he loved the project, believed in the project, and he put up the entire $8 million budget from his own pocket with no distribution deal at that point at all.
And oh boy, was he glad that he did in the long run. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So Rob Reiner got started, and what he did was a couple of weeks before. Sorry. 5 steps backwards. When he started casting, the one thing he was looking for was boys who had similar backgrounds to the characters. And in his own words, he said, I don't want to tax young actors with an acting job that would be out of their realm. So what he was looking for is young prepubescent teens or teens that have somewhat of a similar background to their character, that they could draw real life real life examples. Plus, they would essentially be themselves just with lines. So let's go over the cast, the main 4 cast. Will Wheaton, he was already a shy, awkward kid that his father didn't really care for, and he was actually pushed to acting by his mother. His mother is one of those moms that was like, wanted to be an actress, but didn't quite make it, so she pushed her kid into it.
Yeah, I was going to say, too, at the time, didn't originally, it was River Phoenix. He read for the role of Gordy.
Yes, but he wasn't right for it. That's why he wasn't picked for it.
And then he got moved to Chris Chambers, but oddly, Ethan Hawke auditioned to be Chris.
Yes, but again, Ethan Hawke had a steady home, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't actually.
You have a happy childhood. You're not welcome here.
Sort of, but not sort of. Then, of course, you mentioned River Phoenix. He had a real rough childhood. Well, let's say out of the ordinary, because he had hippie parents who were in an actual cult. And then they left the cult, and then they supported themselves in Florida and other places by sending the kids out to play music and grab some money. Wasn't your typical, suburb childhood. Let's just call it that.
Not at all.
No, not at all. Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman came from an abusive home. His father was a absolute drunk alcoholic, and he abused his son a lot. Now, it wasn't well known publicly, but it was known in, let's say, in the circles.
Yeah,
remember, Corey Feldman just did The Goonies. He did The Goonies.
And that was after he did Friday the 13th.
He did Gremlins
4?
What?
Is it part 4 or part 5?
Of what?
Friday the 13th. I think it was 4. It was 4 or 5 that he was in. Yeah.
Okay. So he did Gremlins 84, Goonies 85, Stand By Me 86, and whatever he did in the middle. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
Funny part is, it sort of kept going with The Lost Boys, where Kiefer Sutherland kind of played kind of the same role in The Lost Boys, just more supernatural.
Very much so.
Corey Feldman is the opposite side of that equation, which is kind of fun and weird and quirky.
But still, it's odd that throughout all of his roles, though, Corey Feldman essentially plays pretty much the same kid.
Pretty much the same kid, yeah. Pretty much the same kid. And Jerry O'Connell, the funny story with him is he's just a New York kid. He just went for an audition. He was innocent, and he actually got the role because he went in. He thought he was auditioning for Archie Bunker, for the guy who played Archie Bunker. And he walked in and was like, "You're not Archie Bunker. You're Meathead."
Yep.
And he did the thing, and he was okay. But then he went out, he forgot his jacket, and then he went back in and fumbled. And Rob Reiner saw something in that innocence, and he cast him. Plus, he is the only guy who is sort of an outsider to the boys. And because he was, let's say, Hollywood innocent, it kind of fit with the Vern character really well.
Well, and I love, too, that I know that after he did end up, the cast was set for the boys, he basically put them in their own little 4-week summer camp. It was like, so you 4 are going to hang out, and you're going to become friends. Go.
Yes. Well, I literally have, it's not the next line, but it's the next, whatever. before that, Richard Dreyfuss. Richard Dreyfuss wasn't supposed to be the narrator. He wasn't even supposed to be the movie. He's a long life friend of Rob Reiner. I think they became friends when they were about 15. And they sort of had the same kind of relationship that the boys in the movie had. So they played the same kind of games. They went on journeys. They read the same comic books. They had the same experiences as the boys in Stand By Me. And the production went through several narrators. Essentially, the role wasn't even filled, as in you weren't supposed to even see the narrator. But when Dreyfuss came in and he read, as soon as he started reading, not only Rob Reiner himself, but the other guys in the production, kind of like, he's hitting the notes that we want effortlessly. And when they said it to Dreyfuss, he's like, I don't know, it's written on the page. It's pretty obvious. And it kind of clicked into place. And that's why he was cast eventually to that role. Okay. You mentioned this, the boot camp. Well, it wasn't 4 weeks. It was around 2 weeks, depending who you ask. I'm not going to lie. If you say Rob Reiner, he said 2 weeks. If you say the production team, some of the crew, some of the guys who went and built stuff, they said it's about 3 to 4.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And the important thing is the fact that he took the time to set the boys aside and say, no, you're supposed to act like you're friends, so you should probably take some time to try to become friends or at least get to know each other first.
Yeah, and what he did was he kind of got him to it's called acting games. It's sort of the starter pack when you go into acting school. Trust is, learn to trust the other person.
Yeah, wasn't that is it improvisation for the theater? Right.
Yes, really acting 101, but they didn't call it acting 101. They call it games or play, or they heavily sort of like improvisational, develop their improvisational skills.
In a lot of ways, like if you were to join like UCB, it's UCB. It's the improv troupe. Yeah. That's what they put you through that first, and you go to like improv classes and things like that.
That was sort of like the first half of it. And the second half was literally going through lines and going through scenes, rehearsing them, adding some stuff. I think Will Wheaton added a few things that Rob Reiner put into the script because it's between him and Jerry O'Connell, some stuff, him and River Phoenix, a few things like a half a line and that sort of thing that kept it we'll call it childlike and fitting with what was going on in the scene. I think I saw, was it Jerry O'Connell? I think Jerry O'Connell said, we rehearsed for this movie more than I've ever rehearsed for my entire career. And I was joking and I was like, what career?
And I say, well, also like
what, sliders?
It kind of shows maybe if you had rehearsed a little bit more, but
yeah, maybe you had more of a career. I'm only joking, Jerry. Please be on the show. No, I'm just joking.
I would say that, and also too, it's been bugging me the entire time, Sander. He keeps not pronouncing the H. It's Will Wheaton.
Yes, it's Wheaton. Yeah. Okay, so production started. So we're going to go through some stuff that I find interesting.
I was going to say just the one thing that I love so much is because Rob Reiner, especially at this time and throughout all through the late 90s, he was really one of the big advocates of anti-smoking campaigns. And South Park notoriously made fun of him for that.
Yeah.
But for the cigarettes, do you know what they did?
I don't remember, but it's not actual cigarettes.
No, they're made out of cabbage leaves.
When did Corey Feldman get molested during this film? I don't think so. And I'll tell you why, Sander. In the behind the scenes stuff, and then in later interviews where they had a reunion with Rob Reiner, Corey said he felt very protected on the set. Now, they had an incident, but we'll get to that in a minute, okay? In a minute. There was an incident, but it wasn't that bad. We'll just call it that way. I think Oh My Feelings knows what I'm talking about. Okay. When it comes to actual scenes, when they did the train bridge scene, Reiner was actually frustrated with both Wheaton and Jerry O'Connell, because during the scene, they did take after take after take, and they couldn't get to the panic level that Reiner wanted them to be. So he wanted them to have sort of like on the verge of crying. And they did take after take after take, and it didn't work for him. Finally, he came up to both Jerry and Will, and he literally yelled at them. He said, "The crew is working hard. It's sun. We're wasting time." He didn't curse, but he's like, "Why the fuck aren't you being more panicked?" It's like everybody's working so hard, and you're not giving it your all. Literally yelled at them.
I say, didn't he also say like, if they weren't worried about the train going to kill them, then they should worry that I'm going to?
I don't know, but maybe. He said he was very, very, very over the line. Remember, Jerry O'Connell at this point is 11, and Wheaton is 12 at the time, I think. So they started crying in front of Rob Reiner, and Rob Reiner said, "Stop," went behind the camera, and action. And he got the take he wanted. And then, of course, the sort of everything ended. They finished the take, and both them and him, they hugged each other and say, "That's exactly what I wanted you to do. Understand that I want to get the best performance out of you." And sort of both of them got it. Now, all the cast had issues with like crying on cue, but again, they worked on how to create sort of like he explained the mechanisms of the method to them without actually saying this is method acting.
Yeah, which I find so interesting because, I found Wheaton's crying forced, but River Phoenix, oh my, I just so wish he wouldn't have died. He would have been such a great actor.
That's exactly my next note.
Yeah.
The next kind of big thing that didn't work was the Chris Chambers and Gordy talking while, guarding against the evil coyotes. The whole the milk money theft. Now, River had issues with crying and getting to that emotional depth that you need. And what Reiner did, he didn't yell at him. He took him aside and he said, "Look, I know you had a rough childhood. Try to remember a time when an adult lied to you or failed, or he was supposed to do something for you and they didn't." And River said, "Yeah, I know. I've got a moment." It's like, he said to him, "Don't even tell me what it is. Just remember what it was." And when you're talking to Will or talking to Gordy, that's what you need to think about when you do that. And he did exactly that in the next take, and they only needed one more take, and it was over. The problem is, after the take was over, again, Rob Reiner hugged him, And then they could not film anything with River Phoenix for the entire rest of the day because he was so distraught and so like he went there and he just stayed there and they just had to leave it be. And again, you mentioned it. Phenomenal actor. I've seen a fucking an entire video about River Phoenix today. Movie after movie, start of life. His childhood is fucking crazy. Now his brother also had the same childhood, much more resilient, apparently.
Yeah.
But if you've ever seen The Joker, he could also get there.
Oh, yeah.
He could also get there. Original Joker, not the stupid.
I was saying, we don't talk about
part
two. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Part 2, which was a giant duh.
The Leech Pond. The Leech Pond wasn't a pond that they scouted. They actually dug up the pond because they needed the moment where they're like stepping into like the abyss, sort of, right? So they take one step, it's fine. The next step, bloop, everybody enters. Now, all of that was set up. They knew it was going to happen. So it wasn't a case like in Willy Wonka where the kids didn't tell the kids anything.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is the pond was built in June. The scene was shot in August. So by the time they went to get themselves dumped in there, it was kind of already a swamp and it stank real bad.
But water.
Real bad.
Yeah.
Now they did have wetsuits, but Will Wheaton said it was, even though the day was hot, the pool was really cold. And no, there weren't actual leeches in there. No. The treehouse was built by the production, but everybody felt like it was there for years. It kind of looked like it was kind of belonged there, but not really. The vomit scene. Favorite part of the movie. The vomit scene, in the vomit scene, the fake vomit was actually made from blueberry filling mixed with cottage cheese.
And it was a large curd cottage cheese too, in order to make it actually have that really big, like almost thick, viscous
with some chunks in there. Yes.
Yeah. What I found great though is you could clearly tell that they had not learned from anything since Monty Python and the Meaning of Life, because it's still, you can see where the hose is and the mouth is just open.
Yes. Now, when I was a kid, I knew there was something in there, but it felt, the effect felt fine. On a rewatch, you can tell that it doesn't start on the top of the mouth. It starts right at the bottom,
like above or below,
or
like,
above,
depending on the person. Yeah,
it didn't quite line up, but it made the mark. The thing about it is, this was shot during summer, and the filling smelled real bad. You remember the river of chocolate we talked about in Willy Wonka?
Yeah.
Well, the summer sun did its work on the cottage cheese. It wasn't good, to the point where people actually vomited.
Yeah.
During the scene. Now, remember I said there was an incident. One of the nights, they were staying in, I think it was Eugene, Oregon, in one of the locations, in a local hotel. Now, the local hotel actually had a Renaissance fair, and they were serving brownies. It wasn't regular brownies, but nobody told the kids. So Corey, River, and Jerry, but not Will Wheaton, accidentally ate pot cookies. Now, Jerry, being the fat kid, ate a whole bunch of it to the point where Jerry, the 11-year-old with no parents around, under the protection of Rob Reiner, completely vanished for a couple of hours. And Rob Reiner himself found them in the parking lot being out of his goddamn gourd, paranoid out of his mind, and completely high. And nobody told the parents too. I mean, they told them afterwards, not the day.
Oh, no.
No. All right. The score and the soundtrack. The score was written by Jack Nietzsche. I think it's Nietzsche. But it wasn't entirely original. What he did was he took the melody of Ben E. King in the original song, Stand By Me, and he rearranged just the melody and used just the instrumental parts of it to actually do a composite for the score.
Yeah, because if you notice the fact that like it's omnipresent throughout the entire film.
Exactly, and they went just for that to keep that overtone of the body in there.
Yep.
Now, Stand By Me by Ben E. King was published not in 59, it was published in 61, but it was re-released in 1986, and it charted to number 8 on the Billboard, along with a music video with King singing, along with Wheaton and Phoenix on the music video. I tried to look for it, couldn't find it.
Didn't find it, yep.
Couldn't find it. And finally, the budget for the movie, I mentioned this, $8 million. And you mentioned the fact that Norman Lear was very happy because the movie grossed $59 million domestic, no worldwide release. But you can imagine in 86 how well it did in the home video section.
In ROI, yeah. Very bad.
The word gangbusters comes to mind. Yes, it did very, 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 very well. Yeah. Very well in the home video. And that is what I've got for the movie. Woo!
Okay.
47-minute mark.
So, one thing I'm going to add before we move right along, had to be is the fact that right after the success of the film, Rob Reiner actually worked with several other, like Martin Schaefer, Andrew Scheinman, and mostly, really notably, Alan F. Horn, to form Castle Rock Entertainment in 1989. And he named it specifically in homage to Stephen King. And what was the movie that Rob Reiner made for the first time as a Stephen King adaptation right after Castle Rock Entertainment was founded?
Don't know. 89?
Misery.
Misery. Oh.
Which we're going to discuss very soon.
Yes. A movie that I don't think Stephen King liked at all. If I remember correctly.
Kathy Bates was amazing in it.
Yeah, well, I like the movie. I don't think it's not a big, whoop-de-doo. Stephen King mostly didn't like any of the movie adaptations, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we might have to cut one segment, by the way.
One aside, just real quick too, like from then, Castle Rock Entertainment has done overall the vast majority of adaptations of Stephen King's work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And also Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. All right, let's play our first game of the night. It is Missing Marquee. Missing Marquee is where we take 10 posters of movies, have their text written off. We display them, and you guys in the chat will have to guess which movie this is. Ba-bam.
Guess what? You got the first one right, so you had to screw up the second lead in.
In about 5 years.
Yeah, one of
Plus,
these days
minus.
I'm gonna get it right.
One of these days, I'm gonna grab you. No,
She is not my version of this character. I'll put it that way.
The movie is not good.
It's not.
It's not well written. The story is a bit meh. To be fair, I didn't quite like both of Angelina Jolie's movies at all.
No, neither did I.
But they're better in terms of story than this. This is Tomb Raider. At least Angelina Jolie kind of looks the part.
Yeah, which I thought would have been so interesting is if they would have actually had is her name? Oh, I can't remember her name now. Well, we know this movie, but
Yes.
the woman who provided the voice of Lara Croft in the 2013 Moving On, the new version of Tomb Raider.
I have no idea who that is.
She was in. They actually did like mocap and body versions like of her and everything. She
Laura
looks the
Bailey?
role. No, not Laura Bailey. No. She's a British actual. Camille Luddington. If you look at it, you're like,
idea who.
Yep, I can see
Okay.
her. I can see her. Being
I
Lara
don't
Croft.
think the chat knows what this movie is, but we covered it. It is
A Scanner Darkly.
A Scanner
fucking
Darkly.
movie. And speaking of another one, and oddly enough, I had not seen this before you introduced me to it, buddy.
Really? You haven't seen this movie before we covered it?
Nope.
Awesome. It's
I
a
don't
Donner
believe so.
movie too.
Yeah.
I think Gambit watches us on delay.
A little bit of a delay, yeah.
A little bit of a
Sanders
delay.
got
This
it.
is
Assassins.
Love that movie. Not the best poster, but it's one of them.
But it's a good movie though. It's a really good movie.
I wonder. I've got stream settings. Oh, it's not on ultra low latency. That's why we've got a little bit more of a delay today than usual.
Sander Gambit.
Sander did get it.
No.
This is,
has to have the full title. That's
I don't
not
think
the full title.
I
because there is another film called Dracula that isn't this movie, and Sanders got it now.
It's Bram Stoker's. It's Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. Let's call it that.
I was so happy when we got to review this. I'm like, finally.
I think this is it's marked as one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah, it is.
For many people. I'm really happy we did get to cover it. It's mostly because and I've said this to you in the past, I don't want to be bogged down with just the movies I love. I want to broaden myself and other people and going like 1942.
La Marseillaise, that scene, like in talking, being able to talk to you about it, like how real that situation was. Whew.
Go back and watch the show we did. It was really fun. Like a really good conversation.
Believe it or not, I think I do know this one.
I've seen this with my wife. This is, if you want to say this is a chick flick and it was cast appropriately to draw as many female crowd as humanly possible, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. Chat doesn't know. Go ahead.
Is it Dr. T and the Women?
It's Dr. T's Women.
Dr. T's Women. Okay.
Yes. Not Mrs. Jones.
Very, very, very underrated role for Jude Law. This film was really good, actually. I like this film a lot.
You know, scenes from this movie come up in shorts a lot. A lot.
Really?
Well, in my shorts, a lot. I don't know what it is. There was a moment in time where literally it's like Joe Rogan, some other podcasts I've seen, and scenes from this movie.
That's really weird.
Yeah. It's not Sniper.
It does involve a sniper.
It does. It is about a sniper in Leningrad.
It's all about, yeah.
This is Enemy at the Gates. Correct.
Well, I mean,
the
flower kind of gives it away.
Look at the flower. This is a movie I need to rewatch and literally I need to do a review like yesterday, but yeah. It's not as great as people put it as. But it's one of those it's one of those movies that I used to love, which is sort of an ensemble story movie. Like Stories of LA kind of movie.
Well, that or Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Yeah.
Kind of like that movie where you have different stories going about all the time, and some of them connect, some of them don't. It is Magnolia, of course.
Oh man, they did so good with the first movie.
The least risky of the posters.
The first movie was so fun, and then they made like 8.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I think I've seen 3. And I haven't seen 2, or I've seen. It doesn't matter. It is Species.
Yes.
Yeah, Species.
All right.
Again, movie we covered, a movie that I don't think we did it justice. How actually, when we did it, we couldn't actually do it as much justice as we should have, but it was 2022 YouTube, not 2026 YouTube.
Yeah, it was a lot different then. We
Yeah.
could show a lot more now than we used to be able to. Yeah.
We could have talked about other kinds of themes
Yes.
that are, proven to be true, but whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm going to let that shit go someday. Someday. All right. It is, of course, V for Vendetta. V for Vendetta, of course, fantastic movie on its own, regardless of real life events or not, because I've seen it before real life events and it was very eerie. We'll call it that. All right. Let me just bring up the movie. And
of course, and also regardless of the real life events that it was based upon, really?
Not real life events. We're going to start with something that I keep forgetting on the rewatch. Okay?
What is that?
What I keep forgetting on the rewatch is it starts with Richard Dreyfuss in the car reading a newspaper about a lawyer called Chris Chambers who died in a bar. Yep. Now, I keep forgetting that.
What's so weird is like it wasn't a bar, because you think like in a bar, someone getting stabbed in the throat. Things that, again, completely out of the ordinary situation, but it's more feasible that way. No, it was in a fast food restaurant.
Oh, fast food restaurant. That's right. Fast food restaurant. It's
like somebody's fighting over a Big Mac and he shanks somebody. Like, what?
Maybe replace the Big Mac with like a waffle, and it could be credible for today. But
no. Well, I would say if you're in the States, how crazy people went over the Popeyes chicken sandwich when it got first released. Yeah.
You mean the defunct, bankrupt Popeyes?
Yeah. Apparently people stopped caring.
Sad story. Such a sad story. How could Popeyes go under and KFC stick on? Whatever. Long live Zaxby's. Whatever it is.
Zaxby's is actually worse.
I heard that from
like Raising Cane's,
a black individual called Drexel.
So like to throw it to like Raising Cane's or churches, like, and also if you go to a churches, like you're probably in the hood, baby.
Okay. All right. So we will jump ahead a lot. First of all, I forgot this is an hour and a half movie, and there's a lot going on in the hour
it's
and
not
a half.
Even an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's
88
like
minutes.
88 minutes.
I mean, that's full credits. It really, like, the film stops at 1 hour and 21 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I got in my copy.
That's it. Like,
but it's including everything.
Yeah, it's at the bare minimum of being an actual like full theatrical release.
Yeah, I know. So it opens up again. When we do get to the kids and after the whole narration, we do this is a setup scene for their entire interaction. They're up at the clubhouse, at the treehouse, right? And Vern is coming in, and this is setting up every single body. Vern comes in, knocks. He doesn't remember the secret knock. The fact that he doesn't remember the secret knock.
All the kids go, Vern.
Yeah. It sets up this entire dynamic for the entire movie. We know exactly who Vern is. We know exactly the other guys. And later on, when they're sitting in the junkyard and deciding who's going to get the food, once Gordy leaves, he even says, the narrator says, it's like, we always find weird and wacky ways to shit on the other guy's mom in new and inventive ways, but everybody knows we're just friends. It's all bants. It's all banter.
Yeah.
None of it's real because we're actually good friends. This to me is so, like, I want to say it's weird in the context of the story, because when they end the entire movie, Gordy says, or the narrator says, that, yeah, sometimes they just phase out of your life, even though they were like real good friends.
Oh, yeah.
And these are guys they're supposed to be like 11. They just finished elementary school and they're moving to junior high.
Yep.
So that they're at the 11, 12 era, essentially prepubescent teens. And they're smoking, playing cards, talking like they're adults, and ribbing each other as if they were like in college or something.
I would say more like they were actually junior high school students going into high school. That's what they more seem like.
Yeah. But then Vern, of course, says, do you want to go and see a dead body? This is, to me, this is why this movie is so special, because I don't remember who said it in an interview, but he said all the great stories about kids or prepubescent kids is about the journey. And immediately it was like, yeah, of course, the Goonies is a journey, right? They have a journey. So they have to have a reason to go on this quest, right? And it doesn't really matter what is the end of the quest. The purpose is it's friends on a quest and they have to deal with stuff along the way. And this is like the triggering moment is like, you want to go and see a dead body. And of course, there's the whole tale of the Brower kid and they don't know, blah, blah, blah. And he, not to go into it, Vern knows the story from his older brother. He kind of hears it and all that stuff. That kind of leads them into this. Why is that important?
What's great, just as an aside too, just the story of Vern not remembering where he buried his secret treasure.
Yeah.
Because his mom lost the map. It's so just indicative of that character. It fits so well, and that's why, again, the casting that we talked about was so pitch perfect with this film.
Yeah. I even forgot it was John
Cusack. John Cusack. I did too. I completely forgot it was John Cusack.
I had a different actor in mind, but it's kind of perfect, especially because John Cusack at the time, again, this is 86, he was just starting to have all the great roles. Like he was set up to be the next kind of big guy. Of course, it kind of fizzled out during the late 80s, but
I want to say too, can we just talk about the relationship between Denny and Gordy?
Please.
Like what a great older brother Denny is.
Yes, because you would think in a house where he's like the big football
he's
star.
The superstar. Yeah.
He's the quarterback. And it kind of reminds me of what we talked about in Varsity Blues.
Very much so. Yep.
So the younger brother is acting up because he's invisible to the dad, or the dad kind of dismisses him because the main star is the quarterback.
Yeah. Well, I was
Right?
like dismissal. I think the acting out was more in Varsity Blues. But this one,
No.
Gordy's just kind of used to being not seen, so it didn't really matter to him that much. But that was still that whole thing where the older brother is looking out for him, especially later. Again, we're going to go back and forth, but during that flashback of the dinner where Denny stops them in the conversation about like, well, you know, the story that Gordy wrote, it's really good.
Yeah, because Denny always stuck up for his brother, even though you would think that he would the shit would go to his head and he would dismiss his younger brother. Especially he's sort of an awkward kid, nerdy kid, writes the stories and all that stuff. He's essentially I would say 59, a comic book kid. Not even.
Oh, this is a very like silver to golden age guy who is like, he is probably like, if he did not become a writer in his own right for novelizations, he would have worked at like late 80s, early 90s DC Marvel. Very easily.
Probably as a comic book writer, not an artist. But it's that sort of era. And this is why Rob Reiner, and you mentioned that at the start, he felt like he's more of a Gordy type. Where he is a writer. And he was... And I think he even mentions it in the interviews I've seen. It's like, I thought that my dad was not paying attention to me. I felt like he wasn't paying attention to me. And he said it was more of my perspective, but I still felt that way. Gordy doesn't actually feel that way. Gordy knows his dad doesn't pay attention to him at all.
Oh, yeah.
And it's even worse when he's like, why couldn't you have friends like Denny, like normal friends? And it's like, my friends are normal. What are you talking about? No, you're like with losers and shit. He feels like his
really
house is dead.
The emphasis that he puts on, well, a thief and some frauds.
Yeah.
And the thief bit is the one that really gets him, because he's like, no, Chris isn't really like that. And we find out later, no, Chris actually felt bad and guilty and he wanted to return the money. And then he got stabbed in the back by a teacher.
Yeah. Which is fucking insane. Now, I want to talk about, we mentioned the sort of improvisational acting classes. One of the things that Reiner was attempting to do was make sure that the actors that are in the scene that have no dialogue would still be in the scene, because he wanted to shoot the 4 kids as natural as possible.
Yeah.
So even if you don't have a dialogue, yet you're supposed to be there. You're the 4 kids. You're the 4 guys on this track, on this journey. I want you to be there, even if you're not talking, but still have something to do, because sometimes you kind of get to see sort of Gordy and Chris talking while you hear Vern and Teddy doing something else.
Yeah.
Or any kind of variation with that thing. In the bridge, it's Chris and Teddy up front and Gordy and Vern at the back. So there's always stuff going on, but
and
go ahead.
What's great too is sorry, there is the clear dichotomy between the sets of friends, where there's clearly like Chris and Gordy are really the really good friends, and Teddy and Vern are kind of on their own as they're ancillary characters, but they're also in the friend group. They're the ones that especially Teddy picks the most on Vern, which we actually get that come up in line later, where Vern finally snaps on Teddy.
Yeah, 2 for flinching. 2 for flinching. And again, every single kid has sort of that moment to shine, essentially. And we do get to see their character, maybe not developed, but sort of like unraveled, right? We get to see more and more of the layers. We get to see why Teddy is acting this way. Teddy, that his father put his fucking ear to a stove, still loves his father because he's a war hero.
Yeah.
He keep bringing up the Normandy stuff, and even though we kind of know his dad is fucking maybe not crazy, but crazy enough to be locked away in an asylum just because he was so vicious to his son. Yet the son still loves him for some reason, or at least defends him, or looks up to him.
I mean, in so many ways, that it is just a childlike case of Stockholm syndrome.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. And
this I found fantastic. And it's like, well, there's no duh why Corey Feldman was such a popular actor, especially in the mid 80s, because it's a child actor that can actually act.
Oh, yeah.
To pull this off right after that scene where he was supposed to be just the most furious, to having the breakdown, like, no, he ruined my dad. It's like, it's fantastic.
It's the thing about it is you have to remember the one scene was done in one day and this scene was done in a different day.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
And
just
him
because you needed the light.
Yep.
If you notice, the light kind of doesn't really change that much, which means they had to shoot around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
This is all natural light. I'll bring it up again. You don't get to see too much lighting in there because the kids are under sort of shade, and behind them you see the natural light of the sun. So in fact, behind them is way more light than in front of them, so they seem a bit more dark. I don't think it was intentional. It was just
with this too, with the way that it looks like it's green screen, but it's obviously not. Yes, they would not do that. But nowadays, that's what they would do, because they would just shoot on a green screen.
Yeah. Or if they're there, they would set up like elaborate lighting and not use natural light.
Or they would actually shoot it on a set.
Shoot it on a set and have like natural light.
Yeah.
You know? Again, I'm mentioning this because a lot of these shots do rely on a specific time of day.
Yeah.
Just look at how they're when they're walking. Look at the shades and everything. This is that talk of they're this sort of like continuing on with this journey, and that sort of discussion between Chris and Gordy about, Gordy's gonna do something better and do some college courses during junior high. And I was like, don't you mean high school?
Well, no, it's supposed to be like the prep stuff.
Yeah,
so
I know.
They have it now. Well, they even had it then, but it was more for like in smaller towns. If your aspirations were to go to college, you had to have them declared very early. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's an American thing.
Okay, so it's not out of the ordinary.
Yeah, especially in small towns, it wasn't. But I love the fact that it's always Chris is the one saying, "No, you idiot! Don't waste the talent that you have."
Yeah, this I wanted to talk to you. You know what? It immediately reminded me. It reminded me of Good Will Hunting. Of that very end where Ben Affleck is like, "No, if you're still working here in 10 years, I'm gonna literally kill you.
Yeah,
because you're wasting your time here.
Yep,
with us fucking dregs." This is exactly what Chris says to Gordy. It's like, dude, you have a talent. You're gonna be a great writer, or at least do something with the college courses, because we're destined to fuck up.
Yeah, because then you say like, "Well, you're not my dad," and he goes, No. I wish I was your dad so I could tell you what to do.
Yeah, and he's sort of tells him the truth, and like the sort of like that truth that kind of hurts because it cuts deep right into your soul.
Yeah.
Where Chris knows how Gordy's dad is treating him and the fact that he's sort of ignoring him, especially after Denny's death. And he's like, yeah, I wish I was your dad, like to sort of slap you at the back of your neck. It's like, no, you have a talent and you need to do something with it.
Yep.
And Gordy kind of flips it on Chris because he recognizes how smart and how good actually Chris is. He's just stuck in a position where, again, abusive dad, his older brother is a fucking degenerate. Plus the company he keeps.
Yeah, they mentioned the well, especially during his breakdown about the stealing the milk money situation too. Well, everybody thought I did it, so yeah, of course I did it. Because it was the whole reputation where he eventually says like, when he's crying, I just want to go where nobody knows me.
Yeah.
To escape that perceived interpretation of himself.
Yeah. And to me, it's sort of like, even if you're not in the position where Chris is, you know exactly what he is feeling at that moment. You kind of recognize, yes, sometimes you sort of have that label of a fuck up. Maybe you haven't experienced it, but sometimes you do,
or you know of somebody who has a label of that. Like, oh no, he's from a really bad family and all the rest of his family is kind of shitheads. So he's probably going to be a bad person.
I had a kid in my class in elementary school who was that guy.
Yeah.
Nothing he could do. He was always pinned with something. Always. He wasn't even the class clown. He was just that guy who was like the fuck up. Even though his dad was like, his dad had a business. He worked at the business. They were pretty successful at that. It was like, he was kind of still the fuck up, but it is what it is.
I think, it kind of goes both ways. So just on a more positive note, of having a reputation like that, think of I think probably the most apt filmed version of the polar opposite of that would be Ferris Bueller. How everybody loves Ferris.
Yeah. But the grown-ups love Ferris, but the kids know exactly what he's doing. Kind of. Yeah. All right. So a few more things I want to touch upon, go a little bit backwards. We talked about the kids a lot.
Are we talking about Ace and the boys and how Ace is a fucking psychopath? Yeah.
Oh, Ace. Okay. So I didn't write it in my notes, but I did put a mental note to talk to you about this. So Kiefer Sutherland was told by Rob Reiner to keep away from the boys, and every time they talk, not to be nice to them.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this whole Ace character, I don't think it's in the books as much. I didn't check.
He is in it. He is not as well. He is a big threat, but not as omnipresent a threat as the boys think he is.
Yes, but what they did with him is exactly what they did in Tropic Thunder. Now you're like, what's one's got to do with the other? Ace is the guy or the character that keeps pressing the boys forward.
Yes.
If he wasn't there, they weren't in such a hurry to get to the body. Right?
Well, what's interesting too is
what's the equivalent? He is Les Grossman from Tropic Thunder. Just
a little bit.
Way less funny, way more ominous.
I was going to say he is the quintessential bully archetype that is in so many Stephen King stories.
Yes.
Off the top of your head, It.
Yes.
Not the monster. No, the bully.
No. The bully in
It. That always goes after the Losers Club. Yeah.
And the whole point, and like I said, this is what Rob Reiner wanted him to not interact that much with the boys.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, Reiner said he is the most kind and giving individual, that Ace is such a big difference between the real Kiefer and the character. And you couldn't even believe it. And at the very end, they sort of had that talk, and after they finished the shoot, and they really respected Kiefer for doing that, because even though they were young, they understood why it was done in order for them to get the response and the performance that they wanted, because they were essentially half acting, because it was them essentially.
Yes. But you know what's funny about that? Kiefer did the same thing during the shooting of the Lost Boys.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why the Lost Boys in this movie are sort of weirdly connected because of Corey and Kiefer. Kind of. Not really, but you can see the parallels between the characters, not the story. Yeah. The story is completely different, but the parallels between the two, the fact that Kiefer is also kind of a bully in that one, and Corey's a different, like, it's the kid. It's really interesting on how it's done. You know, casting is casting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They can see it. They saw this and they went, I've got an idea.
Yeah, exactly. But essentially that entire, including Ace, but that entire group is why it was pushing the boys the whole time. Just like Les Grossman was pushing that for like 5 actors into doing whatever they were doing. It's the outside force that is essentially not there, but it's always on their mind. Now, I want to talk about the hat. Sort of like that first scene, that kind of...
Yeah, which the thing that they touch upon it a little bit more in the body.
Yes,
novella.
That's
kind of, I did not like the fact that they just dropped that narrative thread.
You had the same reaction that Will Wheaton had. He went to Rob Reiner. He knows the entire script, right? And he's like, why didn't they return the hat to me at the very end? Because Gordy has that full transformation, right? That's why Gordy is the one with the gun at the very end.
Yeah.
Right? Why didn't he ask for the hat back? Reiner said to him, look, at the very first scene, they steal you the hat that Denny got you. It is the most important thing to Gordy because it's his link to Denny. It's a memory from Denny. And what they did was they trashed his memory so hard. And you know, as a viewer, these are the bad guys of the story. But the hat was so unimportant to these guys. After they went around the corner, Eyeball probably threw the hat away.
Yeah.
He didn't even keep it. That's why they didn't return you the hat, because they discarded it so fast because it was so unimportant to them, where it was the most important thing to Gordy. And and take a breath scene.
I didn't like it because, well, again, it plays more of an important beat in the novella. That's why it kind of like a little irksome.
Yeah,
I get Reiner's suggestions. Like, these guys are such assholes; they don't give a shit. You know, they're like, yeah, but
they're so incredibly evil. They don't even understand the ramifications of what just happened.
And to be fair,
I don't care.
Honestly, like, I don't think they're really evil either. They're just like guys in their late teens, early 20s.
They're just mean. They're just mean.
They're just kind of pricks. Yeah.
I mean, that whole chicken bit where,
well,
literally,
I mean, let's be honest. Ace, kind of a psychopath.
Oh,
the other guys, though, they're kind of just like, we're just hanging around with friends.
They forced a guy from the lumber yard to fucking crash the truck, and Ace is like, well, I won.
I won.
Like, I won.
Yep.
Fuck off, man. So I wanted to have that full 4 guys, but I couldn't actually pause it at the right time. But I love this bit where the movie kind of stops,
and they have the vignette of the Barfarama story.
Yes, the Barfarama stuff. I won't go into it, but this is from the book. It's in the book.
Yep.
But this is to position Gordy, as they keep saying he's a good writer and all that. You have to remember, this entire story is essentially a piece of memory from Stephen King's own life. Yep. So Stephen King is Gordy.
Yeah.
Because he grew up to be this writer, right? And they're sitting down, and of course Vern, because he's the most innocent, is like, I don't tell a scary story.
Well, I love too at the end, it's just like, well, I only got one problem. Did he pay to be in the pie eating contest? No? Yeah. Oh, great story then. Oh, great story, Gordy. And Teddy the psychopath, on the other end, is like, well, I didn't like that story. So what's the ending? I'm like, no, that's the ending of the story. That's how the story ends. He like the guy who's been bullied his entire life gets his comeuppance. Like he makes sure that everyone's bullied him, suffers, and he gets to revel in it. He's like, so what did he do afterward? I don't know. Maybe he went home and had a hamburger. I don't know. It's like, well, no. What about maybe then he joined the Rangers or something? It's like,
yeah,
it's no. You're not enjoying the moment of the story.
Yeah, but I love the fact that they stopped the whole thing just to show us a piece of I was saying Denny, a piece of Gordy's mind, because when he then goes to sleep, he dreams about his brother and has that whole conversation with Chris about, I didn't cry at my brother's wedding.
Yeah.
And this is important because it's an actual setup. Why setup? Because it's set up for the very end when they do
when
find
when he sees Roy's body.
And he has the conversation with Chris where he does get to cry, where he cries about this Brower kid, but it's an actual release for his brother. He cries for his brother.
It's basically just he essentially what happened during that entire situation is what happens to a lot of children during a very traumatic experience. They emotionally shut down.
Yeah.
And when there is eventually a trigger, then they have full flashbacks to that situation. And that's when they have sometimes deep and longing emotional trauma. But in a lot of situations, like thankfully with Gordy, no, this is his cathartic release. He's finally able to accept the fact that his brother's dead, even though he was stating like, and he's got his best friend there who Chris does it perfectly, saying, no, you're, because he keeps saying like, no, I'm the one who should have died. Like, no, that's not. It's like my father hates me. And what does Chris say?
Remind me.
Your father doesn't know you.
Oh yeah.
That's the perfect line. That
It, like I said before, he cuts really deep, but it comes from a loving place of like, I'm your best friend, and I'm telling you like it is because I'm not trying to hurt you, but I'm trying to get you to realize your position. I don't want you to be in denial. He's not smart enough to say that.
Yeah.
But he is saying that essentially. It's like, I don't want you to deny
he can
the truth
recognize
because he knows it will hurt him at the end, or it will cause different things. There's that moment where after they get out of the pond and, Gordy has a leech stuck to his balls. Yet, this is, to me, that start of that transition of Gordy from the nerdy kid into the, we'll call it the more awkward kid into the more confident kid. Because up until this point, I think it was Chris who was the leader.
Yes.
And from this point on, Gordy kind of takes over and being the leader. He says, no, we are going to, I don't care what happened to me.
Everybody stop it. Like, he steps in as basically being the surrogate father of the boys there. Because they're, again, that establishing shot, like, you can punch back in on that because it's fantastic. Because the juxtaposition between the two, because again, they have that entire fight where this is also where Vern stands up to Teddy and starts beating him up essentially. Because like, I'm sick of your shit. And there's like, no, that's enough. And he gets up and essentially Gordy just starts storming off on his own. And even the narration says, I don't care if they followed me. If I had to go there alone, I would have.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, that is sort of like that start of that transformation. And if you want to go even further, it's like, wait a minute, where did it actually begin? They did everything together, right? They went on a journey together. They slept outside together. They shared some food together, stories, bonding, all that stuff. Gordy had the last shift, right? He got up in the morning. He was reading his comic book, and then a doe came in.
Oh,
and he looked at the doe, and the doe kind of left, and he said, I've never mentioned this moment to my friends or ever until I'm writing this now. Right? So it's sort of like and I think he says it, I wanted to keep that one memory from this journey to myself. And Will Wheaton said in a much later interview, he said that people kept telling me about that moment and saying that my face looks exactly like that deer. And he said, it's the innocent eyes.
Yep.
And like I said, you could say that that was the moment where it kind of started that whole transformation of actually being more confident and being more sure of what he wants for himself, essentially. Getting away from that awkwardness at home where he's not there and not being confident enough to actually do what he likes instead of always being like, why aren't you like your brother? Kind of a, moment or that position in the family for him. Right. Do you want to, we'll do our second game of the night because we kind of went back and forth, and
it's the last essentially almost only 15 minutes of the movie.
I know. So. We'll touch upon that last scene with the body and the aftermath, and then go into a little bit of prophetic moment. But we'll first play our second game of the night. It is Cinema Deathmatch.
Round 1, fight.
Cinema Deathmatch is where we take two movies, pit them together, and see which one is the best one. If there's no discernible difference between the two, both of them are good or both of them are bad. We fall into our criteria, which is Saturday evening, Friday evening, out with the boys, out with the girls, out with your significant other. Two movies in a vacuum. Which one will we pop in? This one is difficult.
Every single week when you're about to that stinger, in my head, I say Screen Fighter.
I know.
Because we did it for so many goddamn years.
I know. Leaving Las Vegas or The Pursuit of Happiness?
You already know mine. It's one of the reasons why I brought up the film in the first place, why we reviewed it as one of our very first films. It's Leaving Las Vegas. I mean, it's a sad movie, but I love that movie so much.
Okay, first of all, The Pursuit of Happiness is really fucking sad until a minute and a half.
Yeah, I know.
It's literally a minute and a half.
I know, but it's the last bit though Well, again, Leaving Las Vegas is sad all the way through until like the very, very end. You're like, oh no, he actually did end up dying. Oh shit. Oh, oh no.
I saw this pairing and I still don't know what I would choose.
Fair.
I'll tell you what though. I've seen The Pursuit of Happiness more times, and it sucks every single time. I think I would choose Leaving Las Vegas.
Okay.
I think I would choose Leaving Las Vegas because I do love Will Smith above everything else, all the shenanigans, all the stuff. But fucking Nicolas Cage killed it in this role.
There's a reason why he won an Oscar, and he deservedly won it. Yeah.
Angel Heart or Wrong Turn. I don't think I've seen Wrong Turn. So
Wrong Turn is so much fun. It was actually the start of an entire. They made many sequels based off of Wrong Turn.
Okay.
I'll just make a synopsis for you. It's a whole bunch of teenagers that end up down in Appalachia with mountain folk. A whole bunch of inbred hillbillies basically kill them. That's the movie. It's The Hills Have Eyes except in the mountains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Angel Heart or Miracle on 34th Street. I've seen the original. I've seen the remake too.
I know we talked about it last year. I'm really rocky on Angel Heart.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to like it. It's fine.
I still would rather watch Angel Heart though, because I did love Robert De Niro as the devil. I thought he was really great in it.
Even though Angel Heart could have been better, especially with a different actor.
Yeah, we discussed that at length.
I told you, I don't particularly, I think I told you I don't particularly like Mickey Rourke in that role. Miracle on 34th Street, both the original and the remake are pretty heartwarming. Angel Heart is way darker.
Oh,
I'm gonna pick. It's more entertaining, to be fair. The Crucible or Youth in Revolt.
Okay. This is when Michael Cera was getting cast in basically everything that had an adult male lead set somewhere between 15 and 23.
It's Michael Cera in a Michael Cera movie.
Starring Michael Cera.
Starring Michael Cera. Yeah. I think 2009 was like the height of what's the name of that show? I barely watched it. Arrested Development? Or was it after Arrested Development?
No, that was after.
Okay.
That was way after. And that was before they did the reboot. Or, well, the sequel.
There was a reboot?
Well, they made several seasons later after the series got canceled.
It wasn't a show for me.
Hey, Scotty. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Scotty boy.
The Crucible it's a tough watch.
Yes.
I would have to go with Youth in Revolt just because I know The Crucible is such a tough watch.
I'm going to go with The Crucible because I don't want to see any movie starring Michael Cera.
But there are several that are not that bad.
Superbad is good, but Juno is nice.
Speaking of Stephen King, it's the movie that he directed.
This is random as fuck, by the way.
This is absolutely perfect, and this is very, very difficult for me.
Really? It is not so difficult for me.
You know how much we discussed Akira to death, and especially like some things that especially that one little sign, like, hold on, you have to pause at this certain moment.
Yeah,
and you can see it.
Yep.
Well, Akira,
it's easy for me. It's Akira.
Well,
Akira's so go right ahead.
I'm going with the entire bit of the shtick. Entire theme of the game. Oh my God. You have not seen Maximum Overdrive. That movie is so fucking fun. And also, yeah, he did nearly kill so many actors on set.
I did watch Maximum Overdrive. That's why you're wrong.
Oh.
It is Akira.
That's right. I have fun with that one.
Oh, God. Trainwreck or Defiance?
When the world loved Amy Schumer, remember that couple of years there?
It was between 2014 and 2015.
No, it was 2014 to about 2018 because she had that Amy Schumer show. She had like 3 seasons of it. It did actually pretty well. The thing is, too, is I don't think she's that bad of a comedian, but she has a gimmick and a shtick, and she just sticks to it. She is right down the lane on one thing. Where I think Cartman said it best in South Park. No. Wendy, you're a funny lady too. All you have to do is to say like that and then my vagina.
Yes. That's the problem with Amy Schumer. I'm gonna go with Defiance. Despite my disliking of Daniel Craig, I dislike Daniel Craig in a Bond movie. He has done a lot of movies that I actually like. No, I even liked him in Knives Out, the first one.
Yes, we have to be very, very specific about that because the first Knives Out was good. The others,
borderline stupid.
Yeah. I would have to go with Trainwreck just because I love everything. The John Cena scenes are hilarious.
Oh God. You would think I would pick Trainwreck for her chest, but fuck that noise. It's
that's fine.
Kaladin is like,
oh, come on. Heat. We're done. Rob Williams, I love you. I love you so much.
I'm going to stop here. This is going to be the last pairing anyway. I have a problem with Heat. Everybody says it's an amazing movie. I rewatched it a couple of years back. I was going to write a review on it, but then I said, I think I'm going to get slayed on it. Yet I am going to write a review on it someday. I still don't get why it's so good. I know it's good.
It's the final scene. That's all it is.
I know it's good.
It's just a robbery scene. That's all it is.
I know it's good. I don't know why people like it so much. It's okay. It's fine. It's not, oh my God, it's amazing.
Oh, I don't think that either. I think it's a good movie. I don't think it's like, oh, well, it doesn't even compare to anything that Pacino or De Niro or even some movies that Kilmer has been in.
Look, I agree with Scott, and he said it in chat. Flubber is good fun. Yes, it is. Yeah. But it's not a really well-made movie either.
No.
Go back and rewatch it with like older eyes. You'll see the plot holes a lot. For a kid's movie, it's good. But if you're like, I want to have even just a popcorn movie, right? I want to have a good time. I would pick Heat even for a good time.
Yeah.
Even if I don't particularly like it that much, I'm not going to have some fun with Flubber on a Friday evening. No. Even on a random Tuesday. I would pick Heat instead of Flubber.
Yep.
Oh.
I'm trying to spot what it was real quick. Trying to see what it was real quick.
It's
you took it down.
Kingsman and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Kingsman.
Just
easy.
For the fun bits.
Fuck it. It's so easy. That was such an easy one. Sorry, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was fun the first time. Then it's like, oh my God, fuck. I felt the same way about Hero. Oh God. Watch that movie once.
I hated Hero.
Second time, oh my God, no.
The martial arts scenes in Hero are really good.
Oh yeah.
It's just that the movie is like
and retelling the story from different perspectives where I'm like, I know.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is not
the fighting bits.
Like, this is also not a really good narrative, and I don't care about the characters. So, like, I just want to see Kung Fu Man do Kung Fu.
Yeah.
So we have the boys finding Roy's body.
Yes. And of course Gordy breaks down, but he evidently picks himself back up real fucking quick.
Well, because just as an aside, it was Billy and Richard that were the ones who initially found the body.
Yeah,
but they couldn't tell anybody because it's
Vern's brother and his friend.
Yeah.
And
then it was so they didn't tell anybody until they eventually ended up telling Eyeballs and Ace, and then they went like, well, apparently another line from Richard Dreyfuss's narrator. Well, apparently they didn't think too much about their mother's names because they told everybody right away.
Yeah, because they swore on their mother they wouldn't tell, and that's why they didn't really care about their mother.
Like,
obviously.
Great. So they're like, well, they got the same idea that the boys have. Like, no, we're gonna go find the body. Then we'll be in the paper.
Yes.
And they're like, well, how did they say that we were out there? Like, well, just say we were out there trying to fish up steelheads.
The thing about Vern's brother and his friend, why didn't want to tell that they've seen the body? It's because they were there in a stolen car. Right? Which, why would anybody think they were there? Like, how would anybody connect them in a stolen car? I don't know. Maybe because they don't own a car. Why would they actually be
like,
that
how
far
the hell
away?
would they have gotten all the way out there? That's what it was.
Yeah. I love the fact that Ace puts the fucking tackle box and the rods in there, and they still don't connect. And they're like, maybe we're not. It's like, you know what? Get in the fucking car.
like, no, I hear your point. I understand it, but get your ass in the car.
And when they do get to clash, it's of course Chris that steps in and protects his friend.
It's like, no.
Obviously, it's a setup for that encounter when he was already a lawyer in that. When I said a pub, but a fast food joint.
That where he actually puts the switchblade up to his neck too. So
yes, exactly.
That's great.
That whole foreshadowing is something that was missing for some people. I saw some people talk about the movie, and that foreshadowing of Ace with the knife to Chris's throat. Like, have you not seen foreshadowing? Like, I don't understand it. But then Gordy was there with the gun that actually Chris stole from his dad. And that whole banter at the start where
he says, suck my fat one.
Yeah, suck my fat
one. Hood. And Chris, and later when they leave, he's like, suck my fat one. Biggest one, 2 counties.
Yeah. Like, who told you I had a fat one, LaChance?
That's great.
They kept that even though they were at a really tense moment or just went through a really tense moment, they still have that banter going all the way straight through, right from the first scene in the treehouse.
Yep.
That kept it going, even though, it's gone way dark.
Well, what's so odd too is the boys end up leaving and they have to walk back through the night to get back to town. Well, I'm curious, why didn't Ace and the guys just come back and then pick up the body?
I don't know.
Because obviously too, I'm like, why don't you wait until the boys are actually busy trying to carry a body back to town?
That's what I didn't get, right? So Ace leaves, Eyeball leaves, all the gang leaves, right? Why would they think the other kids are going to carry the body to town? There's a little bit of okay, we're about to end the movie. We'll wrap things up in a nice little bow. And we'll just make an anonymous call once we get into town. There's something missing there. But I get it.
In the novella, it wasn't ever about trying to get fame or notoriety. It was about like, hey, you guys want to see a dead body?
Yeah,
that's what it's really all about. It was about the experience of it.
It's about the journey. But
Yeah.
we remember we covered Boys in the Hood, and they also went. It's a very tiny journey compared because the movie isn't about that dead body, right?
Yeah.
But they had a very similar encounter where it's Trey coming into this new neighborhood. It's Ricky, it's Doughboy, and the other guy. And they also have this journey when they're kids, right around that same age, 8, 10, 11, that sort of age. And that kind of bonds them together when they're older, when they're, seniors and all that stuff.
Yeah,
right?
but still, poor Ricky. Oh man.
Yeah, poor Ricky.
It brings me down every time. Thanks, Meth.
Oh, I'm going to bring you down a little bit more in a second. When they're strolling into town, this is where it's heavy on the narration, right? It's heavy on when the boys kind of like leave. As Vern leaves, he gets his little story. He is like a blue-collar worker. He married his high school sweetheart. He's got like 4 kids.
He's got 4 kids. He's a forklift driver. Well, the thing that really got me with this one is it's the juxtaposition of this and the Sandlot, because there are so many parallels. Because Vern is the guy, was the pervy kid who got the lifeguard to kiss him, and then they got married and how many kids? Yeah.
Okay.
Then even Teddy was the guy with glasses who got lost in the hippie movement and just kind of fell off the face of the earth.
Okay, I get it.
And Chris would have been the guy who became the professional baseball player.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and of course, obviously, yeah,
and Gordy is the awkward
character.
kid. Yeah. Obviously. I can see it. I can definitely see it. But then, of course, Chris and Gordy don't stay in that in the town. They actually go to the treehouse, where the movie kind of got started. There's kind of this moment.
So, well, I'll see you. Not unless I see you first. Well, and also to that sign where, again, what happened with Teddy about how like he eventually like got some trouble, went to jail. He just does random jobs around Castle Rock.
Yeah.
But how Chris eventually did he did take those pre-college courses with me, and he gutted it out just like I knew he would, and he became a lawyer. And then it kind of brings us to the 1985 version of Gordy writing that story.
Yeah, and this is where even Rob Reiner said that was a bit too eerie, because he said that everybody knew that River was special. Everybody knew River was special. Now, like I said, I've seen the documentary that a guy did on him, which was very comprehensive. He said that he was only 23 years old when he died, but he already made like 11 feature films. Like he did Mosquito Bay with Harrison Ford, and he was toe to toe with him and Helen Mirren in that movie.
Yeah, and he was slated to do 10 other features.
Yeah.
Like he had his whole life ahead of him, which is like, that's the thing that the saddest bit about it.
And he said that the funny thing is that he was always slated to do these dark roles, yet every time he did like a comedic moment, it was the greatest thing ever. And he mentioned a movie that I haven't seen from the 80s, one of his earlier films, where he did like a full-on comedic role.
Yeah.
And also the funny bits in fucking Indiana Jones and in Sneakers as well, right? He could do comedy, but he didn't quite, the casting directors or whatever, they always pinned him to do this specific role. And Reiner said that was so eerie that Chris kind of fades away, and River had the same kind of thing where he just faded away with the drugs, with the alcohol, with the stuff, where there's a lot of burden on River because when he was doing these movies after movies after movies, he was actually supporting his two parents and there was like
Joaquin?
6 kids.
Yeah.
Joaquin and it's like what was his sister's name? She also like Lake or Swan or something. She had like this name.
Yeah.
But yeah,
insert random noun.
Random hippie name, yeah.
Yeah. Well, random noun that a hippie would like. And yeah.
I want to get to something that I thought was funny. A dad sitting in the computer and the kids are like, Dad, are we going?
Just a minute, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Just a minute.
It was 30 minutes
ago.
You
said that 30 minutes ago. It was like, yep.
And I was like, yeah, that kind of sounds familiar to me. Less writing, more playing, but yeah. And you could see in Dreyfuss's face that he lost a friend, but he kind of lost him a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right? As soon as they kind of parted ways, just like Vern and Teddy, he was friends with him, but he kind of lost him along the way. And he even says it about Teddy and Vern. And it just kind of happens sometimes that your best friends kind of
they became faces that I saw down the hallway at school. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how Chris and him got close after that, but then they went to college and stuff. They said they had not seen each other in over a decade after when he heard about Chris's death. He got the line, which, yeah, okay, fine, Rob, gonna try to make me cry. That I'll miss him forever, and I never had any friends later like the ones I had when I was 12. Jesus, does anyone?
That line cut me deep so hard.
Yeah. Whoo.
It's so rare. That's why I told you this a long time ago, off air, of course, that I really appreciate the fact that we do this show. It kind of harkens back to that 5-year thing. We kind of harkens back to the friendship that kind of started on a whim, right? And then a show that started on a whim. And
to imagine we wouldn't be here today without World of Warcraft, oddly. Yeah.
It is what it is, man.
And we never even played the game together. That's the funny thing.
Because you're hardcore mythic. No, I'm just kidding. It's sort of weird how things happen and how friendships begin, last, being kept because of life and situations, and one guy helping another guy, and then the other guy helps another guy. I don't want to go too deep. That's why I'm keeping it on the surface level, specifically, not to invade my privacy and your privacy as well.
Yeah.
The fact that there was mutual understanding and mutual friendship that was there. And I'm talking both the kids in the story and real life for us, that it's not just faces in the hallway anymore. For some people, and I'm guessing for us too, that's...
I would say utilizing their adage of face in the hallway would be now, especially how we met, you're not just a moniker anymore.
Yes.
No.
Yes. There are real names behind this.
Yeah.
But they're not hidden. Well, I don't hide my name. It's just easier. This name is easier.
It's also too the fact that, again, even with our boy Scotty, I mean, we've all met in person.
Yep.
Multiple times. So
And for us, some of the crowds that we used to hang with are our faces in the hallway.
Yeah,
we know them. So. We kind of see them from time to time on chats and stuff, but they're not in our lives as much. I think
we talked about that when we were in Manchester in 2022, where a lot of the people that we knew, like even people that were there the last time, like half the audience is gone that we knew. And it's very different. Yeah.
Yeah. And
it happens. Yeah.
That's why that line kind of cut deep for me, because situations that arose this year and why I'm not actually going to Manchester at the decision not to go at the very end. So, like I said, cutting super deep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that kind of brings us to the end of the show, where we went maybe a little bit too deep.
A little personal, but
it's okay. Introspective is nice on one's birthday, especially at my decrepit age. No, I'm just kidding. It's really not that
we don't
bad.
know how many candles you got left, bud.
I've got a few candles in the wick. That's not really true, but Nope. I've got a few more candles in the ammo, a few bullets in there. Right. For next week, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to cover a movie that I wanted to cover for a long, long while.
Yep.
It also involves Kiefer Sutherland. Surprise, surprise.
Yep.
The fact that and I'm going to go back to the movie, something that I didn't mention. Rob Reiner said that the casting of the four boys kind of fell into place, and karma felt like from above him doing this movie and with these four boys, and it fits with their actual personality, was kind of a karma thing, a kismet thing. And for us, it kind of rings true, because next week we are going to cover A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise, Demi Moore, Jack Nicholson, Kiefer Sutherland, Kevin Bacon, and more. So go watch A Few Good Men, or rewatch A Few Good Men.
Please go watch it, even if you can't handle it.
You can handle it. Now, I need to actually go. So, guys, see you later. Have a good week. And, of course, remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things. And no good thing ever dies.
You're still here? It's over.